The Fortune Cookie Kid, Chapter 5, Torture at 5 in the Morning. A loud blaring noise filled my still, dark room. With a limp hand, I searched for my phone to turn my alarm off. Instead, I knocked it to the floor and couldn't find it until I turned the light on. It was under my bed inside a shoe I had long forgotten was under there and looked too small for me now. I stumbled around looking for some sweats, but all I found were pajama pants. 4:30 felt more like I just went to sleep and then I had to get up again. I hate this already. I mumbled and pulled a white t-shirt on. It was the only thing that matched the plaid pajama pants I was wearing. 4:40. Where are my socks? My room was so messy it was hard to find anything. I like to think of it as a search and rescue mission every day. Then there is the added fun of discovering which items of clothing are clean or dirty since they all seem to get mixed together. Socks are easy because the clean ones are matched and in a ball shape. Underwear is another matter which requires me to smell to see if they are clean. It is my responsibility to put away my pants, underwear, and socks. My mom hangs up my shirts. I at least put my pants in my drawer, but for some reason I always forget to do the other things. And all dirty clothes go on my floor until Saturday when I have to clean my room. My mother didn't get after me to clean my room after we went shopping for the Cinderella ball, so my room was worse than usual on a Monday morning. I grabbed the only sock ball I could find and pulled on my shoes before racing down the stairs. When I opened the front door, I set off the alarm and had to race in and shut it off before it woke the whole house. My dad can be a grizzly bear if he has to get up early. 4:55, I hissed as I ran out of the house. Thomas greeted me on his front porch. Everyone was already there. Am I late? I huffed.
No, we had to ride the bus and it drops off at 4:30 on the corner of the street.
Chester said as he pointed to the bus stop. Oh. I looked at Thomas, hoping he wouldn't say that they would be starting earlier.
Everyone in favor of starting at 4:45, raise your hand.
Everyone but me raised their hand. Aw, come on, guys, I moaned.
Sorry, Reggie, but some of us had to get up at 3:30 in order to get on the bus.
All of you should have received a text or email from me as to what we will be doing each morning.
All of the guys pulled out their cell phones. I didn't get anything from you, I complained. Thomas touched my forehead with his finger.
That's because you never check your email.
I pulled my phone out of my pocket. It was almost dead, and shut off as soon as I looked at the screen. Thomas put a hand on my shoulder and handed me a printed copy of his workout schedule.
Okay, as soon as you get here, you will have a 2-mile run to get warmed up. A map of the course was included in the email.
Chester had it in his hand, so I peeked at it. We had to run down to the end of our street, and then circle back on a walk path that goes behind our houses and ends near the bus stop. You're making us run the hills, I moaned.
The first ones back get to rest until everyone gets here. Tomorrow we will meet here after you run at 5:15. Don't be late.
Thomas looked directly at me. We all took off running. Chester and several of the others had flashlights. I followed Chester and kept up with him fairly well until my legs started cramping. Chester stopped running and started to walk, and I still couldn't keep up. I finally had to stop and massage the knot out of my calf muscle before I could continue. It took me 40 minutes to complete the course, and Thomas looked disappointed at me when I finally collapsed on the steps of his porch. He took us all down to his family gym in the basement of his house through an outside entrance. Then he divided us up into 3 pairs, and had us working on weights and exercise equipment. He didn't teach us any self-defense, which had everyone complaining.
Tomorrow,
Thomas promised. At 7, I went limping home to shower and get ready for school. My father cornered me as soon as I walked in the door.
Did you trip the alarm at 5 this morning?
Sorry, Dad. I forgot to turn it off.
What were you doing leaving so early in the morning?
A bunch of us guys are having Thomas train us, and the only time we can do it is early in the morning. I limped to the couch and sat down to rub my calf.
What happened to you?
I got a cramp.
Let me look at it.
Before I could say anything, my father was running a hand along my leg.
It's not too bad. Ice it, and it should be fine. Tell Thomas to have you do something else instead of running. Let this rest for a few days. If it happens again, let me know. Tomorrow turn off the alarm before you leave.
The doctor always comes out on my dad when any of us get sick or hurt.
Are you letting Thomas train you again?
My little brother Jack asked. Yes, and it isn't any better than the last time. My mother tossed me a cold pack that bounced off my hand and landed on the couch across from me. I moaned as I got up to get it.
You're going to quit, aren't you?
No, I signed a contract. I'm in this for the next 8 weeks. Want to join me?
Yeah, and I bet I could do better than you.
Oh, yeah? I wanted to strangle my little brother, but I thought of a better plan.
Yes, I think I could.
He stood proudly before me. I'll be in your room tomorrow to get you up at 4 in the morning.
Jack, you're too young. You boys come eat breakfast.
Mom always babies Jack. It was pouring rain when I headed out to the bus stop. Thomas's hair was curlier than normal and dripping wet.
How is your leg?
He asked as we stepped onto the bus. Dad wants me to stay off it for a few days, but he is all for me working out.
I'll have you do an upper body workout and bike until everyone comes in from their run.
Why didn't you teach us any self-defense moves?
You're not ready for it yet.
Thomas laughed. I looked out the window, miffed at my friend for laughing at me. He has no idea what it's like not to be good at something since he is good at everything. Mouse came on the bus and sat in front of us.
How did your young apprentices do this morning?
She was clearly talking to Thomas, but she was smiling at me. I grinned back. At this point, I realized that Thomas and Mouse talked a lot during study hall.
They did well, but this one got injured.
He pointed at me. I rolled my eyes and folded my arms. It must be tough being better than everyone, I commented, but regretted the words as soon as they left my mouth.
Being willing to study and work hard isn't a gift, but it is something you need to do more of, even if you don't like it. Reggie, do you think I like playing basketball?
I'm sorry. I slumped into my seat, not wanting Mouse to look at me. But I felt her stare and wanted to sit somewhere she couldn't see me. When the bus came to a stop at the school, I was all too happy for the silence between Thomas and I to end. Mouse walked beside me up to the school. My hand itched to reach out and hold hers, but I felt like such an idiot after what I said on the bus that I couldn't bring myself to reach out the 6 inches and take hold of her hand. Scott greeted us at my locker.
Practice is after school. Part of our deal was that you would attend.
I'll be there, and so will my dad.
Your dad is cool.
Scott patted my friend on the back.
Coach is thinking of asking him to be an assistant.
Oh, please discourage him from that route.
Scott chuckled at the expression of horror on Thomas's face. I wanted to laugh too. That's when Mouse took hold of my hand. She had my attention.
See you in third hour.
She breathed and left us to go to her class. I felt my heart thump as she released my hand. She was dressed in baggy jeans and an old t-shirt, but I didn't care. I saw her differently now. Her clothes didn't make her who she was. Not even her unkempt hair could darken the beauty of her green eyes. My mind snapped back to reality when Thomas tugged on my backpack.
Reggie, give me a cookie.
I dutifully pulled one from my pack and handed it to him. He was looking down the hallway at Chelsea, leaning against her locker. Her lips puckered as she put lip gloss on them. A few guys tripped because they were staring at her too. Thomas ate the cookie without reading the fortune first. I held my breath. This usually means that he trusts the message will be good no matter what. Chelsea's arm was bumped by a girl rushing to class. The contents of her bag spilled onto the floor.
Reggie, what did you bring for lunch?
Nothing.
But you always bring ramen noodles, just in case you don't like what the lunch ladies make.
It was true, but it had been in my bag since the start of school, and the noodles were crunched to pieces.
Come on, Reggie. I just need one noodle.
Thomas pleaded. I practically had to pull everything out of my bag before I got to them. Here, I said, and handed him the bag. He ripped the package open, spilling the contents everywhere and the fortune with it. I watched him eat one dry noodle. Then, he hurried over to help Chelsea pick up the contents of her purse. But she had plenty of help. Thomas only managed to pick up a few coins. On the other hand, I was left with the mess Thomas made. Using a piece of paper, I scooped up the crushed noodles and their container onto it along with the fortune. It said, "Pennies from heaven find their way to your doorstep this year." I flipped it over, and of course it said, "Noodle." When I looked up at my friend, he was kissing Chelsea, and the vision of Miss Peach and our science teacher flashed before my eyes. "Gross," I muttered, and emptied my paper of its trash into a nearby wastebasket. Thomas doesn't care what everyone thinks of him, so he does whatever he wants. No doubt this will make him even more popular. I was saved by the bell. "Thomas, we'll be late for class," I yelled and hurried to first hour. I heard him say his goodbye and rush after me.
I'm anxious about math class. I want to see if you'll be hypnotized. So I'm going to leave class early and check on first and second hour to see if they are under hypnosis also.
I nodded my head in agreement as we walked into science class. Thomas hurried through his assignments, then he asked to use the restroom. I fell asleep until Chester woke me by thumping his book on the desk next to me.
You're going to be late for class.
He pointed at the clock. "Crap," I hissed and wiped the drool from my face. How embarrassing. The bell for second hour rang just as I stepped into the class. I had a hard time staying awake. Most kids my age find history boring anyway, but I managed to stay awake enough that I didn't sleep through the bell. As I stepped into third hour math class, Mouse smiled at me as I passed by her. "Hi," I said shyly and made my way to my desk.
Where have you been?
Thomas hissed as soon as I sat down. "I'm having trouble staying awake." I glared at him. Thomas gave me a frustrated look.
I've been checking all of the classes. Ms. Peach has to see if they have been hypnotized too.
"Well, were they?"
Not that I could tell.
"If they had, that would mean that she would be a suspect, right?" He nodded and began working on our assignment. I remained in my right mind, and so did the rest of the class, much to Thomas's dismay. His forehead was furrowed in thought all of fourth hour, and I watched him type in some notes into his tablet before class ended. All week it rained. Chester and the rest of our exercise group were mad at me because I was not running with them. My dad said to not run for a few days. I tried to explain. On Wednesday, I ran with the group, even though my calf was still sore. I was worried they would mutiny and force Thomas to train them the same as me. For 2 weeks it rained off and on. It seemed the heaviest rains were in the morning when we were all running. We started bringing extra clothes to change into. By the end of the second week, he announced that we would begin doing self-defense the following Monday.
I want you all to know how proud I am of you. Chester, come stand by me. Why don't you tell the others what you told me yesterday?
I lost 10 pounds.
Chester said proudly. We all cheered for him. I noticed how lean he had become, and I was proud of him too. It had finally stopped raining after our Monday morning run. The sun was out and shining brightly on the earth again. It had everyone in a good mood, and we almost forgot about my math class being hypnotized. I felt so confident that morning that I actually took hold of Mouse's hand and held on to her until we got to her locker. Maybe it was me watching Chelsea and Thomas holding hands and kissing that gave me the courage. First hour was Mr. Redding's science class, Thomas's favorite subject.
"We have a guest visitor today,"
Mr. Redding announced and gestured to the back of the room, where a young man in his late 20s was sitting. We had all noticed him because he looked out of sorts with a bow tie and black tux on. The top hat and white gloves gave him away. He had to be a magician.
"I can hardly wait to see him pull a rabbit out of his hat,"
I whispered to Thomas.
Be quiet, Reggie, and pay attention.
Today's subject is on hypnotism and how it affects the brain.
Needless to say, he had my full attention.
This is my good friend John. We attended UNLV together. He paid his way through college by doing magic shows on the weekends. I am going to let John hypnotize me, as I would need your parents' permission in order to hypnotize one of you.
We watched spellbound as John waved a gold watch on a chain in front of our teacher.
"Your eyes are getting heavy,"
John said.
"You feel very calm and relaxed. I will count backwards to 3, and as I do, you will become more and more relaxed. 1, 2, 3.
Mr. Redding's head bobbed and John held our science teacher back so he didn't fall out of his chair. He snored loudly and the class laughed.
In this state, the mind is open to suggestions. Hypnosis has been used for years to help people overcome fears, lose weight, and help them sleep by giving them a suggestion. People in olden days used hypnosis to heal people. Did you know that people who use affirmations are actually hypnotizing themselves?
John grinned at the class.
What positive, and I do mean positive, suggestions should we give your science teacher?
Several were blurted out by the class. John chose Thomas's suggestion.
Tell him he loves to exercise and that in between classes, he will do as many push-ups as possible.
When making suggestions, we need to be precise in our instructions.
Make it 25 push-ups.
Mike Hillman amended. John gave the command, speaking very slowly and precisely. Then he said,
When I snap my fingers twice, you will wake up feeling rested and happy.
Thomas raised his hand before John could snap.
Yes,
John said, pointing to my friend.
Will he remember what you said to him?
No.
Can you tell the person you hypnotize not to remember who hypnotized them?
I suppose you could, but it is wise to remain with a person while under hypnosis.
I rose my hand. Is it possible to hypnotize a group of people at the same time?
In order to hypnotize someone, they have to trust you. I suppose a parent could hypnotize their children if they wanted to, but that person would have to be more skilled than me.
What about a teacher?
Thomas asked. And after that, several hands went frantically into the air. John held up a hand.
Let me take your teacher out of hypnosis first.
We watched John snap his fingers twice, and Mr. Redding sat up, blinking his eyes, fully awake. He stood and smiled at the class. John made his way to the back of the room as Mr. Redding said,
I hope you gave me something positive to do.
The class all nodded reassuringly.
Good. Now, what part of the brain do you think is affected while under hypnosis?
We all opened our books and madly scrambled to find the information. It was a lesson I will never forget. I even finished our assignment before Thomas. He rose his hand the last 10 minutes of class.
Mr. Redding, may I go to the restroom, please?
Sure, Thomas.
Checking out Miss Peach's class again.
He slid his book into his backpack and headed to the teacher's desk. I wanted to remain behind to talk to the hypnotist. As soon as the bell rang, Mr. Redding began doing push-ups and had everyone laughing, making it impossible to talk to John about anything. Thomas met me in the hall.
Well, did Mr. Redding do 25 push-ups?
Yep. Maybe you could hypnotize me so I can make it through my early morning run.
You could do daily affirmations and hypnotize yourself.
I shrugged. Yeah, I guess I could. My second-hour history class put me to sleep again. But this time, Thomas woke me.
Put this in.
He handed me his eraser-size headphone. Why, I haven't been hypnotized for weeks now.
As far as I could tell, Ms. Peach's first hour class was hypnotized. They were acting just like our class the first day of school.
Really? I shoved the device into my ear and waited for Thomas to test it. Mouse walked up beside me.
Are we running the test again?
Yes, I muttered. You are going to love Mr. Redding's class today.
I know I heard some kids talking about it. Do you suspect him now?
Thomas shook his head no.
He wasn't in the class when everyone was hypnotized.
What about John?
What would be his motive? He doesn't have any connection to the school.
Except for Mr. Redding, who is in love with Miss Peach.
Mr. Redding is in love with Ms. Peach.
What? Do you know something? I looked at my girlfriend's stunned expression.
I'm just surprised, that's all. So that's why she was crying. Because they got in a fight or they broke up.
Well, I saw the makeup. The memory of it still haunts me. I took hold of Mouse's hand. Come on, let's go to class. This is the end of the chapter. Please like and subscribe.